Greetings, scholars and professionals, and welcome back to the Office Hours by Professor Harris. I want to thank and give a warm thank you, actually, to Professor Erica Kent for even inviting me to share some tips and some advice to her students. Should anybody else viewing this feel moved to utilize any of the following, I definitely invite you. All right, so let's just jump into it. I have a few things that I want to share with you. Generally, in the area of professional presentation, your professional presence, if you will. I'm going to target a few pieces, your general professional presence, how to market or professionally put yourself out there. I'm going to give you some tips on interviewing skills that I have in mind that have been proven to be very, very advantageous to your professional development. And then lastly, I'm going to share something that is near and dear to my heart, Dr. Harris's Anatomy of the Professional Introduction. So I can't wait. All right, so my name is Dr. Harris. I've been in education and professional development for a total of 15 years and counting, helping countless individuals make their money matter and make their passion their paycheck, right? So I consider myself a bridge builder between classroom and career. I've also a part of research teams currently. I teach research methods at private schools and public sectors from the University of Southern California at the Rossier School of Education to the Chicago School of Professional Psychology, Cal State Northridge, Fullerton, all under the umbrella of research and applying research to practice and informing those leaders and policymakers and also individuals that are seeking grants utilizing empirical data, as well as program development and program management, which takes me to what I'm wanting to share with you today. Again, helping students make their passions their paychecks, bridging the gap between classroom and career. So the first thing I want to do is talk to you about professional presence. This includes your online professional presence as well. Everyone is on their phone, including employers, right? The same way you go and follow up with individuals that you meet on a personal level, just to check them out and get a feel to see if your principles and your outlook on life mirror each other, is the same way that potential employers and hiring committees go out and look online to check you out. So you want to make sure all that is cleaned up. The first thing that I want to let you know is regarding your email address. So whatever email address you put on your resume, make sure that it is linked to your LinkedIn that also displays a professional presence. The look, the tone, the feel, the way it's curated, the photos that you select, it all should be aligned with what your purpose is professionally, right? So start there. Don't try to match your LinkedIn profile to a targeting one company, because what if that company decides that you don't fit there, and then you did all of that preparation, trying to create your look, tone, and feel to mirror just that one place of employment, and then you can't even work there. You want to start with who you are and what your why is professionally. What can you see yourself doing for the rest of your life, whether you get paid or not? That's something to think about, right? I know that there's bills that need to be paid and you want to make sure you take care of your families. That what I'm saying is that is going to come as soon as you identify your professional why, right? So if you can honestly tell yourself that you can do this role or this position or build this for yourself, and you can see it as love and not necessarily work, then that might be your calling, that might be your why. Once you have that, that is when you want to, again, curate and make sure that your professional tone, your presence, your look, your feel, it mirrors who you are professionally, right? Because when employers go and seek that out, they're going to see that you are a like-minded individual, have the same goals in mind, and they're going to want you on your team because what you're displaying to them is natural, it is authentic, and you're not just getting lost in the sea of sameness of other of your competition who's just trying to get the job and is not really who they are. So very, the key here is sticking to authenticity if you wanted to write that down. All right. While I'm on the topic of social media, please make sure that your Instagram, if you don't have a professional Instagram already, you might want to consider that. It's nothing wrong with having a personal Instagram when you have traveling and food and, you just being yourself. But if it doesn't have anything aligned with what you want to do professionally, you should just start a professional Instagram where you can have that presence. You can post photos of you in your place of work, or post photos of you volunteering in the work that you actually want to make your profession and you want to get paid for someday. So that way, employers and hiring committees, they can see you working in that or volunteering in that setting, and it just speaks to them a little bit better than just having an Instagram that is just nothing but personal stuff, right? So that is another tip. Another thing I want to tell you is that you're always selling your worth, your value, your skill set, whether you know it or not, whether you are aware of it. People are always wanting to connect with you to see if you can solve an unmet need or a problem that they're facing on a day-to-day. So whether you are in a business mixer or a job fair, where those professional settings where you want to put it on, if you will, and put on that professional tone, keep in mind, even in those non-professional settings, there may be some opportunities there. And if you are able to naturally communicate your worth, what you've been doing, what you're passionate in, that non-professional setting can turn into a professional setting, because people know people that can get you push your application through or set you up with a meeting, right? So you just keep that in mind. Even when you're in non-professional settings, you are always selling your value, your worth, and your skill set. So that covers the general professional presence piece. Let's go into interviewing tips or interviewing skills. One thing I want you to take from our talk today is the STAR method, right? So this method is, again, proven to be effective because it gives those candidates something it gives them something to say. It gives them a framework to answer or respond to a question, right? So you might be asked a scenario question in your job interview. What you want to do is immediately implement the STAR method. This is situation, task, action, and results. So the employer or the committee is going to give you the situation and ask you what tasks or what plan did you devise to address the problem or the situation in that, right? And so you're already given the situation. You got to think about your task. What plan did you come up with to address the situation, right? So really be, again, unique in those steps of developing a response to that situation. The next one is the action. The action is where you stand out, because anyone can address a situation, but because you're you and because you are unique, you're going to be able to, in this moment, when you're communicating your action, to tell them exactly what you did that's going to make you stand out from the next candidate that was invited in for an interview, for the next potential candidate for that role. So really be intentional about your action and be unique, because that's what's going to make you stand out. Lastly, the results piece. Always quantify your results. What I mean by that is, don't just tell them a story and a happy ending. You want to put numbers behind the results that you caused, right? So whether it is that you've increased the performance of the department from this percentage to this percentage in 1 year, that may be something that would stand out to that committee. Because when you use numbers, that's when they get their pens moving. And that's a good thing, because that means they're going to compare your notes that they took to other candidates. And you want to make sure that when they compare those notes, you are continuing to stand out, right? So the way you do that is by quantifying. Professionals and leaders, they love numbers, right? They love the bottom line. Stories are cute and pretty, but they are looking for the facts. And if you can give numbers, that means that you're confident about the results that you provided, because the saying, people lie, but numbers don't lie. If you're able to quantify, they're going to write that down. And if you're invited to another round of interviews, they're going to call you out on that. So that's what's going to get you that next round of interview, being impressive and making sure that you impress them with the results, but also making sure that you're unique and you don't sound the same. You don't sound like the next person that's going to come in and say something similar, right? So that's one of my biggest tips in interviewing. The next one I'm going to go into is, again, I say the best for last, Dr. Harris, autonomy of the professional introduction, or what I like to call it, the 60-second professional introduction. Why? Because you want to address 3 parts: your professional past, your professional present, what you're doing right now, and your professional future, what you intend to do. So 20, 40, 60, hence 60-second professional introduction. You spend 20 seconds talking about what you've done, 20 seconds talking about what you're doing, and 20 seconds talking about what you are trying to do, what those aspirations are, and what those goals are. Everything that you say in each section, each 20 seconds, should all mirror and should all connect. Now, I know the reality of it is that some of us worked in places or volunteered in places that really don't align with what we want to do. And that's okay. This is how you make sure you still stand out. You talk about the transferable skills in each of those settings. Talk about the skills that you can utilize not only in just one role or one responsibility, but you can apply those skills to other roles and ultimately the profession that you really, really want. So it's okay if your professional background looks a little bit different. A lot of the people that are hiring you, their background looks different as well. But what pushed them ahead is their ability to focus on and highlight and amplify those transferable skills in their professional past, in their professional present, and in their professional future. And I will tell you now to start to put on your radar the opportunities that are closely aligned with what you want to do, so that moving forward, when you're talking about your past, you're not only talking about the transferable skills, but you're talking about the hard skills. The hard skills are those site-specific skills that you would like to talk about. The transferable skills are the soft skills, the skills that can be applied in different roles and responsibilities, right? So if you start this video from the beginning, you probably noticed something about the part where I introduced myself. So I gave you my professional past, what I'm doing now, and what I'm doing in the future. Did you catch that? Did you see what I did there? Well, that is something that I want you to leave with as a tool that you can apply and be ready to be successful. All right. That's all I have for now. And if you want to find out more or see more videos, all you have to do is type in Dr. Brandon D. Harris in Google. You'll see all of my work, my research, or you can visit YouTube and type that in as well and see some more professional development tips. Well, the professor's office hour is up. Till next time, professionals and academics. Have a good one. Thanks for having me.